Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello.
It's still the Brighton Festival, and this show is part of it, so it's another one of these comedy specials for the comedy extravaganza that is the Brighton Festival.
Yes.
Normally, Comic Solving Problems is us two sitting around looking at the news and solving all the problems, fixing absolutely everything. But we're taking time off from that, so sorry if things have got worse in the world.
They could have got better.
It depends how you measure it, and even then, you'd have to be measuring it badly, like putting the ruler in it. Really, you'd have to be metaphorically shoving the ruler really quite in to make the problems look longer. And I don't know what that was a reference to.
Is that like something your granny used to say?
God, I hope
she wouldn't
not.
have said it with she would have said it with accents. I know I live in the Midlands, or wherever this Mansford place is.
I don't know how you were taught to shove the ruler in further to make it look longer, but it was certainly not my grandmother doing it. You disgraceful, despicable.
When my grandmother did it, it was a yardstick.
Oh,
Anyway,
instead it's another of these comedy specials where me and him, I'm Stephen Allen, he's Eric McElroy, that way. We're picking some more of our favourite clips of Series 2. All of Series 2 is available on our YouTube thing, plus you can get bits of it on Amazon Prime if that's the way you're inclined. But we've it's like curated. We've picked some of our favourite things of all the happenings of the last... I mean, Series 2 dates back to the start of August, I think.
yes, it does. Correct.
Wow. It's the truth. We've been doing this a long time. 50 episodes. We should actually work it out, but we're roughly ballpark 50 episodes worth.
Yep. Yeah, I think we get a prize.
It's the truth.
60 something.
Yeah,
Maybe we get our jobs back.
No, that's never happening. Never happening.
That's not happening.
We'll be talking about some of the news that we've enjoyed. I mean, look, there's always news trickling along that we enjoy. Recently, I know we were both talking on the phone about how much we enjoyed that Lawrence Fox guy being sued for calling people paedophiles. It's like he's reached the end of level bad guy in the game of, well, you can't say anything these days. What do you want to say, paedophile? You can't say, oh. So that was fun. What other little news things were fun?
There's lots of fun. I mean, we have fun. We do the show twice a week because we're doing it, obviously, right now, special as part of the festival every Tuesday and Thursday. But we do it outside of the festival as well. Yeah. So this is festival now. That's why we've got the festival spirit and vibe.
Did you enjoy the story about Chester Zoo? One of their orangutans got pregnant and they gave it a pregnancy test and it tested negative. But still, however many months later orangutans come out, little baby orangutan.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently
that's exciting.
They were recording the test results using the government's copy of Excel. So that shit's going to happen.
That's a lot of orangutans.
Oh, God, they're in the ceilings.
It's finally happening. 2020, the Planet of the Apes. It's all happening.
You know what, though? That's the thing. If they remade Planet of the Apes now, the bit where he works out, wait a minute, it's Earth, he wouldn't drop to his knees and say, you ruined it. You ruined everything. It would be like, yeah, you know, I like what you've done with the place. It was pretty shitty when I left it. So, yeah, we should remake that. Another sketch we didn't make.
That's right. Yes. So this is special part of the Brighton Fringe, looking back at some of our favorite bits. But as always, you can check out the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it if you want to. And if at any point during this show,
like now,
you enjoy what we're doing, or if you want to stop us from doing it more, you can buy us a drink.
That would be very much appreciated.
Yeah. All right. Am I presenting my first piece?
Yeah. So of all that's happened since August, what have you picked for us?
This is. We try and present it as problems that we're going to solve. Still haven't solved any problems, but we look at them. So this is a problem that I brought up, and it's a problem because I'm not originally from the United Kingdom, and this was a problem from my people. You ready for a problem that needs solved? Probably more than any other problem, I'm going to say, in the world.
Okay.
And that problem is basically one word, and that is America.
Good point.
It's my home country, Steve, and I've been living away for 20 years, and I look at it and I watch what's going on, and there's problems at all the different levels of society. We're going to start in a minute with the simple folk, right? Mm-hmm. Some people might have seen this. It went up viral in the last 24 hours, and these were people protesting, which is normally a good thing. I don't mind a little bit of a protest now and then, if long as for the right reasons. But these people were protesting in a Target. Which, do you know what a Target is?
No, tell us, inform us. Is it some sort of clothes shop, is it?
Well, it's like a Tesco superstore.
Okay.
So, but they've only just added food in the last few years. It started as more the part of Tesco that doesn't have food. It's a gigantic store. I mean, to be fair, it's very convenient. There's loads of them because it is easier to shop in America than it is here. So we still have that going over the Brits. But they're protesting essentially in a Tesco superstore. And here's the protest.
Take off your mask! Take it off! Yeah, we got someone! Take it off! Take it off!
These first couple things you're going to notice from that, Steve. Notice, they're all white.
Yeah.
There's just something there about the fact that there's just a level of privilege going on. Look at how much we're suffering. Oh my God, I get sunburned and I can't wear the mask. And I'm just so sick of living in one of the richest countries on earth and having to spend my time in Target rather than go to the fancy mall. I mean, these are people who have never struggled, Steve. So we've got that base level of idiocy in America. That's a problem. But then it starts to go up. And we've got, and we're used to having an idiot president. But he's not the only idiot that wants to be president, which we can see here. Kanye, who's running for president, he's got campaign staff. He's struggled to get on the ballot, but he's warned his staff not to fornicate.
Good advice.
I mean, it's an interesting agenda that he's put forward. That's the first policy I've actually heard him talk about. And Steve, I haven't really talked about the Kanye candidacy. I haven't really talked about Kanye very much, partly because I'm not a fan, but I don't know. I mean, he's like this person that's a celebrity. I guess I suppose he's talented. It's not my music. I mean, if it's not Kenny G or John Denver, I struggle. Yeah. But I mean, I guess he can run for president. Sure. I mean, the bar for president has been pretty much lowered.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really said a lot about what he wants to do, what his agenda is, other than stopping his staff from having a good time. I mean, to be fair, maybe stopping fornication is a good thing because then it stops people being born who are protesting in a Target. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Yeah. Maybe there's a whole level of game work here that I don't understand. I do know that he did send out this message.
Wow.
Yep. In case you're wondering what's happening there, Steve, that is Kanye has, much like us, he's turned to streaming. It's popular. Everybody's doing it. He is, I guess he thinks that qualifies him to be president. He's pissing on Grammy.
What does Grandad think about that?
Oh, Steve. It's a Grammy, not the Grammy.
Right.
I mean, I guess that is a qualification for being president. I mean, normally, the current president gets pissed on. Kanye's switching it up. He's just something different. And you think, well, how do we know? Because we don't see anything other than the shoes and the stream and the Grammy and the toilet. Yeah. How do we know this is Kanye's wee-wee? Because he tweeted it.
Okay.
And trust me, I won't stop, which could mean that he's got a prostate problem.
You should try stopping it. Builds up the good muscles.
I mean, I don't know how old is he? Like 35? I mean, he's got a good stream going. And I mean, I'm of an age, having that much force happening. I'm jealous. Not of the Grammy, just of the consistency of the stream.
I'm more upset that he's missing the funnel. Who would wee on a Grammy and not deliberately try and get it down the main funnel bit?
Yeah, you'd want to fill that up first. Because that's where you could get all the bubbles. Oh, that'd be nice.
It's all about the froth.
Okay, so we got different levels of stupidity. And then we have an Attorney General of the United States. And he was talking about the fact that he, who's the chief law enforcement officer, he actually doesn't like lockdowns. And he made this comparison.
Putting a national lockdown, stay-at-home orders, is like house arrest.
Is Is it like house arrest? No. I mean, it kind of is like house arrest when your kids are home from school.
Yeah.
But I'd say calling, staying home in the middle of a pandemic house arrest is a little bit hyperbolic. I mean, maybe you just, I cut him off there. Maybe he's going to explain it in a less stupid way. Let's see what else he had to say.
It's other than slavery, which was a different kind of restraint, this is the greatest intrusion on civil liberties in American history.
Has he ever listened to any American history? I mean, we're not the British, but we try.
Oy.
We've done some stuff as well. I'm not going to rehash it all here. But, I mean, there's only one way I feel that I can respond to that statement. But I do want to end this section on the problem of America. It's not all problem. It isn't a problem with just the people or the media, celebrities, or the attorney general. There are some people that still give me hope in my home country. And it's the woman who filmed the anti-maskers at the Target. And she said something that I thought was beautiful.
Take your mask off! Yeah, take it off!
Fucking idiot.
Good times.
Still good.
When we did that, I was going to say, because it was only after the event that you titled that whole piece, which is probably available on social media, Dumb Americans. Yeah. Which is a shame, because now every time, because when you sent the clips through, the Bowie song Young Americans just comes into my head. But now I keep singing, We Are the Dumb Americans. Oh, yeah.
That's the new remix.
It's worth doing. Remix. Yeah. Depends how you vote in November, but
Yep. But I was just watching that back again. I was just pleased about one thing, which was the correct use of the word hyperbolic. And it reminded me of the time that I was on national television, because I'm not on the MASH report, but I've gotten a little bit of TV exposure over the years.
This guy's famous. This guy over here.
2014, I was being interviewed, BBC, Sky, I can't remember, and because so many, and it's usually those two, and I was talking about the Scottish independence, and live on air. So, and I said, I was given an example of something, and it wasn't very clear. The subject I was talking about. So I said it was a bit opaque. And I said the word opaque. And in your mind, when you're speaking, in your mind, it's like, does that mean unclear? And so I got off air and I turned to the person that was with me. I was like, did I use that word correctly? And he said, yes. I was like, yes! Because you don't want to be that. I mean, I was talking about politics in Scotland and my view of Scottish independence, and so I'm already on thin ice as it is, and I just knew that whether I got it right or wrong was going to be a bit opaque.
Yep, and then I mean, it's a great story, but you don't know what it would be like to know Eric and do a show with him during that year. Together, we were doing a show that was basically what this thing's based on, where we would sit in a small venue on the free side of the Edinburgh Festival and invite topical questions from the audience and just sit there riffing. And then for the rest of that festival, every day, he puts the word opaque in a sentence. Every day. So proud.
Especially, I said on national television correctly. I was just like, as I was saying, I was just like, fuck.
I mean, look, it would have been embarrassing if you got it wrong, but in terms of hyperbolic, which you use right, beautifully done. It's even if you'd have got it wrong, it wouldn't have been as embarrassing as Natasha Bedingfield in the song Unwritten, where she has the lyric, no hyperbole to hide behind. So, and that's it now. It's a song, it's been made, it's released, everyone can download it, it's all over Spotify probably, and everyone listens to it and goes, oh, you mean hyperbole? And how do you live that down? I mean, she's not the most embarrassing member of the family, we all know her brother, but other than that is a difficult one to shake off. It must be the most embarrassing thing ever. Sorry, that was a hyperbole.
I used it right.
You did. Well done.
Not talking about me.
Actually, it moves us nicely on to the next topic. So in case you've just joined us, it's the Brighton Festival. Keep getting that wrong because of Edinburgh. It's the Brighton Festival, the comedy experience that is that. We're doing this special version of Comic Solving Problems, taking our pick of some of the favourite bits we've done in Series 2. And it's not all been the big stories. There was small stories that cropped up, like there was a news story some researcher had worked out that full stops And Generation Z or millennials or whatever incorrect euphemism we're using for young people these days. I mean, like millennials, the oldest millennial is something like 38. Yet the newspapers use it as if they're some young whippersnapper who doesn't know anything. So maybe it was Gen Z that they were talking about. And the fact that some punctuation wigs them out. We dealt with it in this way. Here we go. It's the first part. Gen Z, intimidated by full stops. Linguist issues warning. What are you meant to do at the end of a sentence? Well, you don't need to put a full stop because you send the message. See, this is the real issue of this story that no one's discussed.
Yeah.
Because there are two types of people in this world. There are those of us who would write a block of text, and at the end of it, we will click send.
Yep.
And if you receive one of those, you receive one notification. Oh, I got a message from a friend. Then there are those other knobbers who every single time they've half-baked a thought, click send because they can't wait to get it sent, and then just send more and more and more. It's a flipping onslaught.
Yep.
Oh, I got a message from... Oh, 2 messages, 3 messages. That's just a word. That's just an emoji. That's just a space. Is he sitting on his phone? Why is he sending so many... What the... Anyway, how are you, Steve? Why would you separate those two up? It needs to stop. So that was take one of it. The amount of acting. If you've not watched this show before, you're missing out on some good method acting.
Very good.
But then, look, we don't just pick these frivolous stories and do a light touch. We dig deep to see what are the actual connotations of these news stories. So bearing in mind, we've just found out that Generation Z don't like full stops.
Okay.
We concluded this. I understand their logic. If you are going to click send when you've finished typing, you don't need a full stop. But then the result should be Generation Z say, I feel like you don't need full stops. Not, I'm intimidated by it. Why bring emotion into it? Because then you get to be the victim of punctuation. And it means at some point, someone at work will have to have a meeting that goes like this.
Well, thank you for coming to this HR meeting. Jonathan, I'm afraid we've had some complaints about your behaviour. Simon, I wonder if you'd like to explain.
Sometimes when you talk to me, I find it really aggressive.
I'm not aggressive.
Oh, he's been mean to me again. What have I done? Thank you. I don't understand. Oh, he's doing it again.
Simon, I wonder if you could explain exactly how Jonathan is upsetting you.
When you finish sentences, it means you'd be using a full stop, and I just find full stops really triggering.
Full stops aren't aggressive, it's just a part of speech.
It just did too!
No, the one in the middle was a semicolon.
I don't really know how you use those.
Yeah. You know, I just...
Oh!
Now what?
You abandoned the sentence, and that would be an ellipsis. That's 3 dots.
No, I'm sorry, but sentences end. It's not aggressive, it's not shutting you down, it's not attacking you, it's just language, period.
That's special effects, isn't it? What?
Yep. What, you don't have a twin?
I did not involve my twin. I had to use camera trickery because my parents didn't remember to have me as a set of identical twins.
Well, that is, well done.
Why, thank you.
The high pitchedness. I know I get criticized for having an extremely deep voice, but your high pitchedness there, I just felt like you were making fun of me.
I got range. That's all it is. I got range.
Reminds me of a friend of mine named Larry. I haven't seen him for a while.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah, we'll talk about him on another show.
He's a good guy. But definitely kudos for getting it in there with the camera angles and 3 shots, you and you and you. Yeah, that's very good.
The very obvious theme, and what I realised is, look, this is niche stuff that not everyone knows, but we promised to also talk about some behind-the-scenes stuff during these Brighton Festival specials. Is the white balance was the problem on the phone, because as I moved closer to the window, so it changed the whole white balance thing, and it meant the shadow in the background was more obvious. So I could have set the white balance and the exposure and all that other crap. But who's for a joke about punctuation? You know what I mean?
I wonder if now that you got the green screen, you can film it with the green screen. Next level.
They get subscribed to this link because this show is going places.
Yes, we're going to take green screen, multiple shots. I might even do something where I'm not sitting at my desk someday when I film these things.
No, you won't.
So,
trust me, you don't want to get into it.
unlikely.
I had to buy the flipping tripod for it, and I just walk around the flat filming myself. It's just, in fact, in all of these, I don't think I've got any. Actually, that's not true. The next one I'm playing after your one is actually in my kitchen. But I went through a whole phase of doing most of the sketches on my side of the sketches were just filmed in my kitchen. Yeah, just me cooking. I'm trying to get a spin-off.
That's true. But we've got this series. We've been further away from the tea stories. Season 1, a lot of tea-based stories, less tea. So we're bringing that back. Promise. After this, you subscribe, see some stories about tea because I know my tea. Look at that.
There it is.
I mean, it's vodka, but still.
That's the difference between you and me as well, is the way in which we stay hydrated. Because during the show, he's always got the drink there on the go, and I always wait until after the show, where I just neck.
Good Lord.
I get through so much. Have you never seen me drink? Because we've known each other for a long while.
Yeah, but you don't drink during shows, and we don't spend any time with each other on a personal level. So
my other half has an issue about the way in which I stay. So what's that? That's just under a litre. I'm not at my most thirsty, but maybe I'm northern. Maybe this is why I drink like. But this is how I stay hydrated, right? For me, this is a normal drink.
Okay. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi.
Now that is the amount of water that one requires in a drink. I mean, I didn't finish it. I'm not a beast, but I do that 3 times a day, and that's it. I'm sorted. Whereas my other half, and I'm not, I don't like to mock people in my actual sphere of existence, but this is not a cruel mock. When she does the same thing, she'll get like a bottle, and they go for about half an hour, and they go, and like that much is gone. So
you've shared. I mean, I've only known you for like 15 odd years or so, but no, I've never seen you glug like that.
Yeah, I just do that like 3 times a day.
Okay.
I don't know, because I'm very efficient. I don't know why people spend all day with their small sips. Glug 3 times a day. I have more than enough water to keep me going. And look, this is why every time I play a short clip in from a news bulletin, we come back and he's a
swirl.
That's going to get us some of those ASMR listeners. Bit nearer the mic. There it is.
I've lost track of what we're doing now.
It's your go to play a clip.
Right. So this is our Brighton Festival special, where we're taking some of our favorite bits from Series 2 of Comic Solving Problems, where we're solving problems. There's lots of problems. We sometimes deal with a lot of problems from...
It's Comic Solving Problems, where comics were solving problems. Woo. Talk us through that again. Who's solving the problems? What are the comics solving?
Problems.
What are the comics doing with the problems?
Watching you drink that drink is just throwing me. Okay. We talk about America a lot, we talk about Britain a lot, but we don't really reach into the continent. And this problem is one that could only happen in Germany. Geeky Boar leaves Nudist Grunting in laptop chase.
Wow. It's got
amazing story. Before we move on from that headline, though, I mean, somebody had fun writing that headline, didn't they? I mean, there's some thought put into that. Because how do you decide that the boar is being cheeky? Because, I mean, this is in Germany, where apparently the boars run wild and free. Like we have foxes in London, they have boars in Germany. I guess because they're on the continent and they have actual wildlife. And because you don't in the UK. Well, you know that, right?
Saw a cow in a field the other day, so...
No.
Sheep.
Nothing. Badger. I've lived for 20 years. I've never seen a badger. I don't think they exist.
Never seen a live one, unless people are bringing in dead ones and just leaving them by the side of the road.
Yeah. The most wild thing around me are my kids. Anyway, so this boar basically ran through a park where it was sort of clothing optional, and it grabbed somebody's bag, and somebody chased it. And I think part of the reason they had cheeky in the headline was because this was the picture that came with that headline.
Ooh. Oh,
there's some cheeks right there. Cheeky boar. I don't think it's the boar that's cheeky. It's the man who's lost his laptop, which was apparently what was in the bag. So he's going full tilt to get it. And it's just beautiful. It's a little herd of boar there. Yeah. And, you can see the people in the background enjoying themselves because it's in Germany. To them, this is high comedy. They don't do stand-up. They just get the boars loose and put some meat on a laptop. I mean, if you're going to run after a laptop, we've got another image, I think, of this as well. There's another angle here, as it were.
Why have they blurred that one out?
Digitized.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one, I mean, he's going full tilt. I think what kind of laptop is worth running naked for, Steve? I mean, I used to have a Sony, and that was quite expensive back in the day. I mean, definitely if it was a MacBook Pro, you'd run after that. I mean, now I've got a Chromebook. I mean,
Keep it.
You can fucking have it. I'm not going to go for that. But this was
they
the third.
blur out his ass, but not the pigs. That's nice.
I know.
look
Hey,
at
careful
the
who you're
arsehole.
calling a pig in this story, okay? It's a boar to you. That's the preferred
I've just
term.
misgendered a swine.
Now here it looks like the boar's got his foot in a box, or else they've covered up his foot. Or maybe he's got a tat. Doesn't want.
They're really not good at covering up the nudity, are they?
But look at that. He looks like a toddler. This belly, the man. I mean, this picture's so beautiful.
Yeah.
This is the problem with taking a break, is that we can't ever take breaks again. That's the problem we have to solve. There's no more breaks because we miss things like this. What I like is all the people around him looking on, doing nothing to help. All those people just watching this man run buck naked, which he was allowed to be because it was kind of a place where you were allowed to be clothing optional.
Well, this is the thing. I'm looking at that, though, and I'm realising it's not that popular to be naked around there because everyone else seems to have remembered clothes.
Well, would you want to have your bits hanging out with boars running around?
Yeah. I mean, do you know what I mean?
He's got a grip there on that laptop bag. And it was, watching that and looking at the man's image there, I thought, you know what, that does remind, the way he's running after that boar, just the way he's standing there, it reminded me of something from back in the late 80s, early 90s in the U.S. And I thought, I've seen this guy before. And I think we've got a picture of it right here.
There he is.
Look at
Nice.
that. That's him.
He's got a laptop in his hand.
Yeah. But the reason why he's got all that hair is because that was back in the 80s. And we didn't shave everything back then.
That's true. Those were the days.
Yeah,
those
were the days.
Yeah.
You can have proper growth.
Let's not get into the details. Wow. We covered the big stories this year in this season.
Yeah, of course it was big. It was the Sasquatch. They're massive.
Yeah. There is a bit where it covers, they pixelate his bottom. And it is a bit like, that's not how he's going to be recognised. If you're trying to protect his identity, cover his face. Unless maybe
I would imagine he's a superstar in Germany now. I know they're looking for a new, because Angela's retiring, isn't she? So they must be looking for a new chancellor.
Do you think in nudist places they do learn to recognise people by their body parts? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've not been to a nudist place.
I've only been to that one once, and I wasn't there long enough to get to know people's bottoms.
Could you explain quickly why, in case people don't know what we were referring to?
Just leave it hanging out there, which is actually their motto. They just say it in Latin.
Yeah, probably one of the, I would say, millionth saddest things to happen from this pandemic is that I was booked to do a gig at I always say the wrong word, naturalist.
Yeah.
I get it wrong every time. My wife always corrects me. When I'm like, honey, we're off to the naturalist. No, we're going to the...
It's better to get it wrong that way than it is to get it wrong by saying, Sir David Attenborough is one of Britain's greatest naturists. Because that is a mental image.
Yeah.
These are my balls.
But I was booked to do one of those, but I didn't get to see. Didn't get to go. Tragic. Tragic.
This is the Brighton Festival special of comic solving problems. We're going through some of our favourite clips because we do this show twice a week. Every single week. We've been churning these out for ages. For the second series, which is on YouTube, but also Amazon Prime and places like that, we covered many different stories. I did say that I hadn't done many that actually involved me being in the kitchen. There was one sketch. I think this is the only kitchen-based sketch that I've done this series, I think. Anyway, have a look.
Okay.
Brexit. No deal can be a good outcome in cis PM. I can't do it, man. I can't do it again. No, because...
Did we get this?
Trying to write jokes about Brexit again would be like going back to an ex. Look, we had fun for a short time back then, a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was a laugh for a while. But then things got nasty and stuff got said on social media and all very mean. And if anything, I've moved on. I've found someone new. You don't know her. She's called COVID. and I write jokes about her now. Look, I feel we owe it to do some jokes about it, I guess.
Okay, whatever.
Boris Johnson did. He said it was an oven-ready deal, and now he's saying no deal would be good.
Okay.
I mean, it's effectively like this. Oh, hiya. Yeah, no, I just got in. Yeah. You've put things on a plate for me that I can just put in the oven. Oh, thank you. That's really nice. Was that? It would be a good outcome if I didn't eat it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confused. So the stuff you put on a plate, yeah, it's oven ready. And you're saying it would be good if I went without food. What have you put on the plate? It's a plate full of shit, isn't it? And that is a metaphor. I don't know if it is or not.
What was on the plate?
So that's why we had to do the zoom in, because I didn't realise it was in shot. I just wanted to be able to lift the tissue up. It was an empty plate. So I was like, oh, well, it's clearly not a plate full of shit. So the metaphor falls down. So I had to do the crafty, slow zoom in, like they're just realising there's a shark in the waters. Yeah. The things, and also thankfully since then I think I've lost some weight, because my word, that was full on Santa style, you know.
Hey,
the problem with that video is I look like I shouldn't have been eating any dinner left for me anyway.
Yeah, nothing wrong with starting to look like Santa, especially because the gigs won't probably be back by Christmas. Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas.
Because it's nearly time. Next month is when, because I do more voiceovers now to try and scratch a living out of that. And normally I get some Santa voiceovers. Yeah. So, hey, if you've got any adverts that you need making that requires a bit of the old hello, then I'm here. But I can only normally do about a week's worth of those before I lose my voice. So get in soon.
That's creepy.
It is. It's a superpower that no one should be able to sound like someone who can entice children in a shopping mall.
Yeah, especially in the middle of a pandemic. It's really not on.
No one's letting Santa in, because what is he? Breaks into your house, probably just spreads disease, half eats some food and leaves it on a plate. You dirty bugger, there's germs.
Oof. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, so in case you're just joining us, this is part of our Brighton Festival special, looking back on our favorite bits of what we've done in Series 2 of Comic Solving Problems. Yeah, we're cracking through them, aren't we?
Yeah, we're doing all right. So of all the problems that we solved, the next one we're over to you. And this is, I like what you did with this one, because I think you actually you provided useful information, not for really anyone in the UK, but if other people were watching, this could be useful.
Yeah, because it's a problem of what to do when you have a bad boss. What do you do if you used to work for Donald Trump? And it basically seems like there's three categories of things that you can do. And we've seen this based on today's headline for Steve Bannon. And one of the things you can do is you can get arrested. It's a popular choice for people who used to work for Donald Trump. Steve Bannon was a campaign manager. We can see we've got another Donald Trump's first campaign manager. We've got that here, Corey Lewandowski. He was charged with assault for grabbing a member of the press. That's one option you can go for there. You can go the other way if you want. Also another campaign official. You got Manafort, Paul Manafort. He was convicted. And is now in jail, bless his heart. And the Senate just came out with a report making it look like he pretty much did collude with the Russians. That's one choice. So when you stop working for Donald Trump, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of people who are no longer working for Donald Trump after November 3rd, please vote if you can. And even if you can't, apparently it's going to be all mail fraud anyway, so go for it. But
if there are any dogs and dead people listening, please vote.
Any dogs, cats, not the cats. Fickle bastards.
No,
another choice. So if you don't want to go down the convicted route, or at least not get caught yet, you can do what Michael Cohen is doing, which we mentioned on Tuesday. He's gone down the path. He's actually he did go to jail as well, but now he's going to write a book. So he can do the tell-all. And I'm looking forward to this book because he's going to talk about the PP tapes. And I've heard he's got a picture section in the book. Not
a scratch and sniff section.
So many people have stopped working for Donald Trump and have written books about what they've seen behind the scenes there. I mean, Trump, for a man who doesn't read, he's done very good for books. It's pretty incredible. Now, the other option is that you can go, which is happening right now. We're getting a number of Republicans who spoke at the Democratic convention and are just going on TV, and they're speaking out to warn us that that they tried to fix Donald Trump by working with him, and he's unfixable. And we're seeing this now. We've got Miles Taylor. We've got the headline here, I think, who worked in Homeland Security. He's come forward saying he's backing Biden. He says others are going to speak out as well. He's speaking out. And he's come out. He's been all over the cable news shows in the States. And he gave some examples because he's working in Homeland Security, so he was having to brief Donald Trump about a pending hurricane that was coming towards the U.S., and this is what he said it was like talking to him.
And then he turned to me and he said, I've got a question. Yes, Mr. President. He said, do the hurricanes always spin this direction? He meant counterclockwise. Now, that's called the Coriolis effect. Same thing that causes toilets to spin the other direction in Australia, a follow-up question he also had. But this is what the president was focused on. Americans were in the path of a deadly hurricane. He needed to get out there and tell them to evacuate, and he was just marveled at the way that hurricanes spin, in a way a third grader might, learning about earth science.
Steve, that is a terrible thing to say about third graders. They are smarter than that.
Yeah.
And it's science. You can see it swooshing there. So, that's how it works. Other way.
I love the way you started speaking about the need to evacuate. Well, it's a good job you've been studying toilets.
It's another use of them. That's something that Donald Trump would understand. Miles was pretty harsh in that interview about what he found working for Donald Trump. And of course, as in America, because we can do lots of things with political campaigns, his commentary on what Trump would be like if he won re-election has already been turned into a campaign advert, which we have here.
The president's reelected. The guardrails will be gone. We should expect, quote, shock and awe if the president wins a second term. You will see a flurry of executive orders. You will see the president pull out of foreign alliances. You will see the president align with dictators around the world. And if right now we're less safe because we have fewer friends and stronger enemies than before, you can expect to see that on steroids in another 4 years of the Trump administration.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Yep.
Good time.
What a time to be alive.
A time to be alive. Yeah. So there we go. One of our favorites. And so yeah, if you're just catching up with us, the Brighton Festival folks, these are some of our favorite bits of Series 2 of Comic Solving Problems.
Yeah. If you're enjoying any part of this show, it really helps. The only reason that we can continue to afford to do this is donations of people who chuck money in our direction. Yep. There's links to places at the end of the show. There's a link on screen, but also wherever you're watching this stream, there should be some sort of a URL that we try and post with it. That means you could chuck some quids in our directions, and it keeps the lights on. And for this show, the light's purple.
Ooh, yep. And if you don't like us, I have a puppy.
Yep.
Just saying.
We really should do a spin-off show that's basically just a puppy.
Yep.
All about the spin-off shows is the way forward.
All about the spin-off shows. All about the puppy.
So, obviously, look, there's no getting away from the issue that one of the things that we talked about a lot was coronavirus, because that's why we started doing this version of the show, and then we dropped quarantine from the title, but Series 2 was still dealing with the elephant in the room. Actually, I've got to be careful about that because we're about to talk about Priti Patel. What I'm saying is the story that she made us question ourselves about was, would you would you dob your neighbours in? Would you I'm trying to think of all the East London kind of, you're a narc, would you basically snitch on your neighbours? She said she would, but then Boris Johnson made it all confusing, and it left me in a moral quandary. I'm not the kind of person who sticks his nose into other people's business, but we were being told by the Home Secretary that there was an imperative to do so. We dealt with it. We resolved the issue. We solved the problem like this. Would you snitch on a neighbour? There's that phrase, snitches get stitches, but then do not snitches get a persistent cough, a temperature, and a loss of a sense of smell? It's I don't know what's the best way to do it. I did think if you get caught snitching on someone, these days people are aggressive, and you don't want your neighbours getting angry with you. Imagine you're in a park and you see a big group of people, like 7 people. If you dob them in, they might come and be violent to you because they'll outnumber you. And if they don't outnumber you, maybe have a word with yourself first. But my theory is I will snitch. I will snitch now as long as it goes like this.
Well, officer. What brings you to a place like this?
Oh, come on, Joe. We both know you're the kind of man who likes to keep his nose to the ground. I thought maybe you might have seen something I might be interested in.
My memory ain't so good these days.
Well, maybe this might jog your memory.
Things are still a little bit foggy.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. Woman at number 47 had an 18th birthday party for her kid.
And I can say I have tidied up those wires that hang down from the shelf.
Is that how you did the money thing?
Yeah, it's all done with wires.
It's wires.
Flipping special
Did you reach
effects.
up? Where was the money coming from when you reach up?
It's magic, isn't it? It's magic.
It's magic in this show.
Yeah.
That's what maybe we should stop talking about news and problems and just do a magic show. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think we stand a chance of succeeding at that either. So
It was nice.
if you watch it back again, I mean, it's not magic. It's that my hand was out of shot holding the money. So I then pull it back in from shot.
Don't tell me how the trick is done. I've done tour support for Pete Furman, who's a fantastic comic magician, and I've been backstage where he's laying out all the tricks in advance. And I'm like, I walk by the table just going,
Yeah, can't know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
It's magic.
But mine's not magic. Mine's just camera trickery. It's not even camera trickery, is it?
Don't ruin it.
The actual
really
camera
am.
trickery, the version that I tweeted about, I tweeted that video before we did the show, and by the time I'd done the show, I'd added a colour filter to try and make it look like it was more overexposed, like it was some sort of Costa del Crime kind of vibe. Too much time on my hands.
Yep. Give this man a gig.
Yeah, put some money in the pot, because otherwise we're just going to sit around making these shows. And regularly you can email the show wherever you're watching this. There's a place where you can message, you can find a way of getting in touch. And a guy called Philip, one of our correspondents, sends us news stories all the time during these Brighton Festival specials. We've been looking at some of the stories that he sends to us. This final one that we get to cover is this one. The demand for vasectomies has increased by 20% in a year in Dublin. I mean, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I'm not sure what to do with that.
Oh, the luck of the Irish isn't quite what it was.
Where are you going with this? Because you're American as well. At some point, you're just going to use that voice and say, "Ooh, me Lucky Charms." I know that's.
Oh, I miss Lucky Charms.
But so do the people who've had the vasectomy. But I mean, I've been bored during lockdown, as you can tell by some of the sketches that we've bothered to make. But I've never been sat there like, oh, what can I do? I could have me vas difference tied up. Who thinks? Yeah,
is that what it's called? Your vas what?
Vas difference, the tube that goes from the testes into the.
That?
We were taught it at school. I think everyone gets taught that.
But nobody remembers that. Why do you remember that? Everyone is taught that, but it's not information you need.
Well, it came in handy during this show.
Partner, oh, tickle my vastistis.
Ooh, don't go near the vas difference.
The vast difference.
The vast difference. The vast difference. Which actually sounds like it should be one of my fake names. I always like to have some go-to fake names. My name is Vas. Vast difference.
Let's see if that handle's taken on Twitter. Hold on. No.
Yeah.
They got time on their hands in Ireland. It's a traditionally Catholic country.
And it saves using contraceptives, I guess. Maybe.
You're not supposed to use... Yeah. I don't know. I've got some friends in Ireland. I'll give them a call, ask them how their vastistes are doing.
Yeah, how's your vastistes? It's a fake name. My name is Vas. Vas different. Keith Vaz. Remember that. In no way is it linked, but I just thought I'd say it out loud. Although Keith Vaz had a fake name when he was, I don't know how much of this was proved, so do we need to say allegedly, hiring some guys to, I can't remember the story, but it had something to do with blokes coming round for some bloke-on-bloke action and something to do with pretending to be a washing machine salesman, that Keith Vaz would pretend to be a washing machine salesman to have these encounters with men. Do you remember that?
Okay. I don't recall that story.
But then you don't You don't recall that your bald tube's called your vas deferens. So
why would anyone recall either of those things?
Both could be useful. Because the next time when we're allowed out drinking again, and you get a tap on the shoulder, and some shaven-headed, some bald-headed guy goes, "Do you want to buy a new washing machine?" You've got to think to yourself, "No, might need it later, but no."
I was thinking, am I going to get a good deal on this? Remember when people used to come into pubs and offer to sell you DVDs?
Yeah. Well, not only that, first week at university, we were in these halls of residence, because I went to university in Birmingham, halls of residence near the Edgbaston cricket ground, and just over the road was a pub that wasn't a student pub. It was just like a proper working class. Blokes go there to slam down some pints. So we're there, because we weren't the most studenty of students, so we didn't annoy them and get thrown out. And this bloke comes round, goes, "Hey mate, do you want to buy?" And he opens his coat up and pulls out the kind of plastic Tupperware box that you get from a Chinese restaurant, and he said, "Want to buy some meat?" And we bought it because we were young and foolish, and we think it was lamb. And I mean, that story was weird back then, but during a pandemic, me remembering just buying some meat from a guy in a pub.
I have to say it was pretty remarkable the first time someone knocked on my door in this country and was like, "Yeah, I got a truckload of fish. You want to buy?" I know that's not the accent, but in my mind, if I put it back into America, it'd be, "I've got some fish for you to buy. You want to buy some fish? I don't really want any fish from you. Why are you buying?" "No, you're what?" "I've got some fish in my truck." And then the lady a couple doors down from us, she was so excited that the fish man came around. She bought too much fish, and it didn't fit in her freezer, so she tried to give it to us. And I was like, "I don't want your, like, of all the foods to be selling when you don't know where they've come from."
Yeah.
No.
Different time. It's a different time.
That's not a different time. There was a fish guy around right before the pandemic. It's not different times.
It's a different class. That's what it is.
He's still driving around. It's the same guy.
Because I'm from that working class area. No one ever believes it, because I desperately tried to change the way I come across so I could get a job with the BBC, which I eventually did. But it also means absolutely every middle class person has said to me, "Well, you're not working class. You don't get to judge, you dick." So I'm connect to that. Normally I'm a germaphobe and all this stuff, but when someone comes around with some very low priced meat, there's a big part of me that just goes, "Oh yeah, tell me more. I can get some well priced meat here." What?
It's not licensed meat. I mean, to be
licensed
fair,
meat.
Come January, after the borders are closed and we can't get food from anywhere outside of the country, come around my house.
Yeah,
Can you get some of your
Keith Vaz, if you're listening, we are going to need a washing machine, and we will do anything.
And some meat.
Reasonably priced meat. Oh dear. Well, look, we're almost out of time. If you've enjoyed the show, how much do you think a small Tupperware tub of meat is worth? Please,
well, you'd have to scout, because you went to university like 40 years ago, so you'd have to do the change in currency and stuff. You were doing the old money back then.
How very dare you? I simply look older than I am.
It was like a tuppence or something like that is what you paid for it?
That's what we paid for the meat. Seems like a fair swap.
Today's money, 100 quid.
There's a link coming up on screen at the end, and there should be a link somewhere near the stream, a donate link. Any couple of quid you could throw in our direction would be very much appreciated. But more of these shows will continue. We have more of these shows to do every Tuesday and Thursday. So Thursday at 9 o'clock will be the next one.
That's right. And this has been a special one as part of the Brighton Festival, where we've been looking back. But, typically when you see the shows, we do them live, and we can solve your problems live on air. You can send us problems in advance. You got our Twitter handles on the screen there. So please get in touch and let us know that you're there and you're enjoying it, and share the show.
So could we end this final of our Brighton Comedy Special look back specials?
Yes.
With something that we did. It was a mention of the story. The whole actual clip is about this guy who's a stuntman. He set himself on fire to propose to his missus.
Oh, yeah.
And blah, blah. We did loads of blah, blah, blah. But the bit that I've edited it down to, one of my favourite clips, because it was just the level of messing around that no one needs, but we can get away with it because it's our show. So this is it's one of my favourite things that we've ever done. My other half sent a message straight after complimenting you on your acting during it.
Oh, well.
What? So this is the bit we did. Stuntman proposed to his girlfriend while on fire. If that's what you do, then I guess you really could say you've kept the spark alive. Always wanted to do one of those sitcom endings. There we go. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah. You did hold that pose well.
Yeah. And I know you only had to move your eyes because you were going to have to click the button for the next bit. So you can see your look. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
How long have we done it?
Yeah. But no, when you've been married as long as I have, Steve, you learn when to freeze.
Is a vision based on movement? What? That's... Oh, God.
I don't have to take out the trash.
Clever girl. So, look, I think we're out of time. Thank you very much for watching. Chuck some money in the pot. You know all the details. Thursday, 9 o'clock.
And we're doing more Brighton Festival as well. We still got some of that left. But we'll be back. Are we going to call it season 3?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Think about that.
Yeah.
We're going to think about that in the next little bit, and we'll let you know if we're going to call it something different, or it might just be more season 2. I mean, the numbers mean fuck all.
Yeah. And on Amazon, all of the clips from Series 2 are being called Series 1 on Amazon Prime, and they're not in the same order. Do you know what? There's absolutely... And on IMDb, it lists us as having done no series so far. So, do you know, no one can sue us for it. We're just grateful to be here.
So this has been our best of season 2. Join us for season 5.
Join us for season I to the power of I, which, as we learned during the show, actually is a real number rather than an imaginary one. Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? There we go. But thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Join us again, 9 o'clock, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Till then, bye.
Bye.